Hi, Verbling. My name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about environmental changes. We're going to be reading an article, discussing some vocabulary, and having conversation. And if anybody wants to friend me on Facebook, I'll put my Facebook name in the chat box. I update my Facebook with new classes and ask for suggestions on classes, or you can just message me there to say hi. Dogu-kan, welcome to class.
Thank you so much. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you. I'm well, Thanks.
I think this is the first time I've had you in class, right?
Yeah, it's first.
Excellent, nice to meet you. Where are you
Thank you, me
from?
too. From Turkey, from Istanbul.
Cool.
You know it? You hear?
I've heard of it. I've never been there. Maybe one
Yeah.
day.
Maybe one day you will.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it
I've
would be.
heard a lot of really beautiful things about Turkey, how it's a lovely country with really interesting food and culture.
Yeah, it's, main point is the food. I think.
Yeah?
I like to eat,
What are your favorite kinds of food?
uh, Meat, like we have some special thing about meat, made by meat,
Mhm.
That's the favorite.
Very nice.
Thanks.
All right. And Emmanuel, welcome to class.
Hi, Nicola.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thanks. What about you?
I'm doing really well. Is this the first time I've had you in class?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Very cool. I love your picture. Really cute baby there.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Thanks.
And what are your favorite foods? Me and I was just talking about food with Dogu-kan. Tell us your favorite foods.
My favorite food is maybe maybe hamburgers, meat. Maybe hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Okay.
Yeah.
Meat-centric as well. Cool. Thanks, Emmanuel. And I am stumped on the pronunciation of this name. Brandon? Brandon?
No, it's Vladimir.
Vladimir. Okay,
Hello,
that
yes,
was absolutely
Vladimir.
not close to Vladimir, welcome to class.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where are you from?
I'm from Russia.
Excellent. Well, it's good to have you with us today. Tell us about your favorite food since we started talking about food.
Okay, well, actually, I have lots of kinds of food. I don't know. I don't even know. Nothing can come to my head.
A typical food, like something that is famous or particularly delicious where you live.
Oh, where I live, particularly delicious is. Well, I can name one kind of food, but I don't know whether you know it, whether you ever heard about it. It's borщ. In Russian, it's borщ. It's one kind of soups,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, yes.
It's supposed to be very delicious.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Vladimir, and welcome to class.
Thanks.
Onur, welcome to class.
Hi, Mshara.
Wonderful to see you again.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Just having a nice, relaxing day of a few classes. And we were talking about food, which made me think of you because a while ago we had a class where you told me about a
pumpkin.
Yeah, the pumpkin
Pumpkin.
sweet. And I
Yeah.
tried to make it one time, and it really didn't turn out very well. It was just like, I don't know. I don't think I made it right. But tell us your favorite food.
Actually, I don't like to eat too much, but I love snacks like ice cream, like sweets, like pumpkin sweet. Uh, and
Ice cream is
actually,
good.
I'm trying to lose some weight.
Oh
So
no!
yeah. So
So don't talk too much
I'm
about food, because
yeah. I am forcing myself to decrease the amount of consumption.
mm, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
All right. And Elena, welcome to class.
Hello,
How are you, Elena?
fine, fine,
And
very well.
tell us what your favorite food is, since that's what we've all been talking about.
Of course, Spanish omelette or potato omelette. I don't know how to call it. Do you know
Yeah,
it?
I think it's called tortilla, right?
Yes, in Spanish is tortilla.
Mhm.
Tortilla de patatas, potato omelette.
Delicious
Um,
and vegetarian.
yes, yes, with onion. Because some people put onion in it, and some people don't. I like with some onion.
I'm a big fan of onions too. Onions and garlic, all the stinky foods.
Yes, me too.
All right. And Andre, welcome to class.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Andre. Did you change your picture or are you a new student to class?
New.
Nice
And
to meet you. Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine. Ukraine.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
what are your favorite foods?
I think meat, of course.
Oh,
All
of
kind
course.
of meat, barbecue, and
Yeah.
also fish, sea fish, and salads, especially Greece salad.
Yum. Sounds good. I love Greek salads too.
Yeah.
All right. Cesar Luis, welcome to class.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you very much for your uh, conversation. This is my first time with
Oh,
you.
well, it's nice to meet you. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Spain. Uh, I have to uh, congratulate for your introduction video on Berlin. I've seen before the classes was incredible how you made a movie introductions of your classes. This
I'm
was
glad you
great.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's a pleasure to be this afternoon with you. Thank
It's
you.
wonderful to have you guys. I look forward to this class. It'll be an interesting one. But before we begin, what is your favorite food? Tell us your
Yeah,
favorite food.
of course, my favorite dish is paella. It's a typical Spanish made of rice, fried rice with meat.
It's a very complex dish. I've tried making it myself, but I wasn't much good at it.
Well, it's just a question of practicing, you know.
True, true. Okay, and Andy, last but not least, welcome to class.
Thank you. How's it going, Kella?
It's going really well. I've had a wonderful day so far. Tell
Great.
us your favorite food before we begin.
Well, my favorite food, I think Italian food, pizza, pastas. It's
Ooh,
the
yeah,
usual.
lots of cheese and carbs.
Uh-huh.
Delicious. Okay, so today we're talking about some environmental changes, and we have some interesting vocabulary we'll be looking at. I'm going to copy paste the link to the the article into the chat boxes for you guys, and I will screen share it as well. And before we start reading, and while you guys are loading this document up, let's make a list of animals that are scary, because the document has to do with some animals that are a little bit scary sometimes, that make you afraid. So, Onur, can you think of some animals that you are afraid of?
Snakes and scorpions.
Ooh, good ones. Both really scary. Emmanuel.
Lions.
Lions, yes. Those guys are pretty scary too.
Yeah.
Elena?
For me, all the animals are scary. I'm very afraid of animals in general, even dogs and cats.
Wow. All right. Dogs.
I don't. I am not very afraid of insects. I don't know why. It's a strange thing. But yes, the other kind of animals, I don't like them.
Opposite of many people.
Yes.
But that's practical, because it's funny. You see a dog and lots of people are like, "Oh, how cute!" And then you see this tiny little ant, and people freak out. They get scared. Yes. All right. Dogu-kan, what kind of animals might you be afraid of sometimes?
Also scared of snakes.
Snakes. Yeah,
Snakes.
Those guys are scary.
Yeah.
Poisonous ones especially.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Cesar Luis, tell us some animals you're afraid of.
Well, of course, insects, big insects, like spiders, for example, or scorpions or something like that. And snakes also make me frightened. So it's dangerous. I've seen once, and it was my blood pressure increased a lot, and I hurry up and go.
I believe you.
Yeah, a sensation you feel when you have already seen immediately you get alert, you alarm, bad sensation.
Yeah, definitely. Not a good feeling to see an animal like that. Andy, what are some animals you're afraid of?
Snakes and sharks. Every time I swim in the sea, I just get paranoid if they're around.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Even when I know it's safe water and everyone is swimming and there's no problems, I still sometimes I'm a little scared because I can't see. I can't see inside the water, and I think anything could be down there.
Yeah.
Sharks, okay. And Andre, what kind of animals are you afraid of?
All kind of insects, spiders, scorpions.
All right. So I made a little list for us, and I'll put it in the chat boxes for you guys. Okay. So let's start on our document. We're going to read an article today called "When Big Carnivores Go Down, Even Vegetarians Take the Hit." And this is kind of a mysterious title. It will make more sense once we've read the article. And if we have time today, we might listen to the story as well. But if we don't get time, you guys can listen to it on your own. It's just 3 minutes and 13 seconds. And it's a really good addition to what we'll be talking about today. Good listening exercise. We've got a beautiful picture here of a wolf. A really pretty picture. Let's get started. The first 2 short paragraphs. How about Andre? Can you start and read those for us?
Yeah. Big fierce animals, lions and tigers and bears, for example, are relatively scarce and in nature. That's normal because if you have too many, they will eat themselves out of prey. But top predators are now so rare that many are in danger of disappearing, thus creating ripple effects through the natural world that scientists are still trying to figure out.
Thank you very much. So that introduces our topic a little. And we have some interesting and complex vocabulary today. So I'll be stopping frequently to ask if you guys have any questions. And if you think of something while we're going through the actual article, write it in the chat box. That way you don't forget what your question was and you can remember it later. So let's talk about the vocabulary here because some of it is very important for our article. The first word is fierce, big, fierce animals. What does fierce mean?
Dangerous.
Dangerous is part of it. What else?
Wild.
Wild, yeah.
Kind of hard.
Hard, could be.
Angry animals.
Angry or aggressive, yeah.
Who can bite you?
Yeah, usually they're something you don't want to get too close to.
It's being like a tough, maybe.
Tough. Fierce animals are definitely tough.
Who can
All right.
eat you?
And what about prey? We have predators and prey. What's the relationship predators and prey have?
Hunting for food.
So which one is food, predator or prey?
Prey.
The prey.
Yeah, prey is food of the predators. And most of the animals that we listed in the beginning of class are predator animals that kill other animals and eat them. All right. And what about a ripple effect? Last vocabulary phrase for this part. What is the ripple effect here?
It's when a thing has an effect upon another thing and another one, and you have a chain of effects. One thing, another thing, another thing.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great synonym. So a chain of events or a chain of actions is like a ripple effect. So one thing affects another thing, and that affects something else, and on and on and on. And a ripple is a motion in the water, like when you see water moving and then you can see vibrations like lines. That's a ripple.
Like waves?
Like very small waves, yeah.
Okay.
Is that the same like a domino effect?
Yeah, it's a similar expression. Okay. Any other questions before we move on to the next paragraphs?
How we pronounce next word?
Throughout.
Yeah.
This one here?
Yeah, throughout. Okay.
Throughout. Good question. Okay. Next two paragraphs are for Andy.
Okay. What they're exploring is ecology, the interplay of animals and plants in nature. It's not rocket science, it's harder. We're dealing with the most complicated system in the universe, and we hardly even know what the moving parts are, says Rolf Peterson, a research ecologist at Michigan Tech.
Thank you very much. And the next two are for Cesar Luis.
Peterson studies large carnivores and is among the world's top wolf experts. He and scientists like him are finding that as the number of big predators mm, viewing less, everything around the animal changes. It's like a cascade down the food chain. Ecologists call it a trophic cascade. Trophic being a term to define any particular level in nature's food chain.
Thank you very much. All right, so we have a few good vocabulary words from these paragraphs. The first to go over is the word dwindle. Does anybody already know the word of this difficult to say vocabulary? Dwindle. If you look at the context, you might be able to get a clue.
Yeah.
He and scientists, oh, go ahead.
I guess it means decrease.
Yes, definitely. That's a good synonym. So big predators are dwindling, meaning that the numbers of big predators are decreasing, and there's fewer and fewer.
Okay.
All right. What about cascade? The word cascade. Can anyone give us a good definition for that word?
It's like like a ripple effect. You mean?
Yes. So we use it similarly here. That's excellent. From the context, you can tell that cascade means that it's going from one to the next to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Can anyone add to that definition? Usually you hear the word cascade used with something like a waterfall that falls down.
Yeah.
So we use cascade for things that are falling down repeatedly. Any other vocabulary questions so far? No? We're going to go through one more section, and then we're going to talk more about the content of these paragraphs and summarize a little bit of what we've been reading. So keep that in mind. And Dogu-kan, can you read the next two paragraphs for us? Dogu-kan, are you there? You're muted. Just in case you don't know or forgot, you can unmute yourself by clicking this button above. If it's red, that means you can't speak. And if it's white, that means you're ready to go. Okay, Elena, will you read the next two paragraphs then?
Yes. Carnivore biologist William Whipple.
One before that. Take
Sorry?
cougars. Starts with take cougars and wolves, I think.
Okay. Take cougars and wolves, for example. When there are fewer of them, their prey, deer and elk mostly, multiply. More plant eaters means more plant get eaten, and everything that depends on those plants, from birds to butterflies, is affected. Carnivore biologist William Whipple from Oregon State University says even streams are affected. Armies of deer, grown out of control because of the lack of predators, can eat them, can devour all the vegetation along stream banks, and that causes erosion along those banks.
Thank you very much. And one more set of two paragraphs. Dogu-kan, are you there? You're muted. Oh, there we go. Excellent.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. I had
No problem. Will you read the next 2 paragraphs for us? I'm screen sharing them, and I will highlight the ones that would be yours.
Which one? I couldn't understand.
Starts with the stream actually changes course.
I got it. Okay.
Can you read them out loud for us? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we can't hear you again, Dogu-kan. Maybe it's your connection. I hope that you get to connect again, but in the meantime, Emmanuel, will you read those paragraphs for us that he was about to read?
Sure. Could you please move a little bit the text to the right hand?
To the right?
Yes, please.
Can you not see it properly?
Yeah, the first words in each line, I cannot see the first word. Maybe it is the stream actually.
Is this any better?
How about... No.
Yeah, it's better now. It's better now. Thanks.
All right, I'll change it back when you're finished. Go ahead.
The stream actually changes course, says Ripple. So we are finding that the predator can actually affect the shape of the stream. These cascade effects take all sorts of paths. Bears, for example, grab salmon out of rivers and eat them in the banks. The leftovers decay and add nutrients to the soil that help plants grow. It's just a type of connecting the dots in nature, says Ripple, and it shows the interconnectedness.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this vocabulary. Do you guys have any questions so far from the last section that we were reading? How about the word devour? It says that the predators eat them and they can devour all the vegetation along the stream banks. What does devour mean?
Eating. With no limit.
So how is eat different?
Eating with no limit. No limitation.
I see, yes. So eating a lot and with enthusiasm. Anything else to add here?
Yeah, I think it is eating, but in a way that it is like I don't know, the strongest way a person or an animal can eat.
Yeah, kind of an extreme version.
Yeah, dramatically.
How about erosion? What is erosion?
Moving of soil.
And banks? It has to do with erosion. What is a bank? Usually we know it as a place where you can store your money or take out a loan, but in this case it's a very different kind of bank.
Like coast, right?
Maybe place.
So I heard coast. What else?
Shore.
Shore is kind of a synonym. Yeah, it's the line, it's the area of land that's right next to a river or a stream or even a lake. It's that area which would be a beach. If it's the ocean, we call it beach. And then usually if it's another body of water, we'll refer to it as a bank. All right. And let's see, just a couple more paragraphs. Do you guys have any other questions on these paragraphs or anything else we've read so far?
Hi, I have a question.
Go ahead. What's your question?
What means elk? There is deer and elk.
Good question. Can anyone describe for him what elk are?
Elk is much more bigger than deer, and he's male. He's male.
Yes, exactly. So you can see a few pictures here of that animal that Lenore was describing.
Oh, I see.
All right. Any other questions so far?
I have a question about the title of this article.
Yes. Go ahead.
There's a take a hit. Is that the phrase?
Mm-hmm. I'm just marking where we are. Okay. So let's go back to the title. We didn't go over the title in the beginning because I thought it would be a little more clear once we had read some of the articles. So let's talk about it now. It's called When Big Carnivores Go Down, Even Vegetarians Take the Hit. So we have some idioms being used here. In the first part, when big carnivores go down, what do they mean by go down?
Decreases.
Kind of, but in this sense, it's not exactly the meaning of decrease. It's sort of the same thing you would hear if you hear that a plane went down. What would it mean if you hear that a plane went down? What does that mean?
This is extinction.
Yeah, kind of like that.
It's a fail.
Kind of like death or a crash of something. If you hear a plane went down, you know that a plane crashed. And when big carnivores go down, it probably means death or extinction, or at the very least, something very close to extinction. And the second part, it says, even vegetarians take the hit. So take the hit is another idiom. Does anyone know what that would mean in this situation?
That's similar to take the effect.
Suffer the consequence.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So suffer some kind of negative effect or consequence here. Any other questions on this title?
No. It's okay.
All right. Awesome. Do you guys have any other questions on anything we've read so far?
Yes, could you scroll down and leftovers decay. What does it mean?
Decay. Excellent vocabulary word. Leftovers decay. So what are leftovers? Let's start there. Sometimes I go out for Chinese food and I always have leftovers at the end of the night. No one? Leftovers are usually food that is extra. It's a surplus of food. It might mean some other material as well. You might have leftover cloth or leftover clothes, but frequently leftovers is talking about food, like dinner from yesterday. And decay, can anyone describe the word decay for us?
It's like decrease the number.
Or quality.
Yeah, decrease in quantity and quality. And they said that once the leftovers decay, it adds nutrients to the soil. So they're talking about when the leftovers, the food leftovers from these predators gets left on the ground, it returns to the ground and It's when something spoils or goes bad.
Mm.
It's not a
Like
very
rot.
delicious looking thing. All right. So if you guys have more questions, keep bringing them up. Now is a good time to talk about them. And while you think of those, let's start to summarize a little bit here. I'm going to start with Thiago. Oh, Thiago, welcome to class. I haven't mentioned you yet, but I've seen you there before,
Okay.
so you're following class and everything, right?
Yes, yes.
And what have you heard so far from our article?
Uh, I I joined the class with you guys have started to read already, and I think from the paragraph number 5 and going on.
Okay, so what did you hear? What have you been learning so far from the article?
So I think that is about the consequences of uh, when change the uh, for example in the for example the predators when decrease the quantity of predators, and this can have consequence for all the another animals in the environment, and this can affect the plants as well, and the soil and almost everything. So it's the it's basically I think that the best that I can summarize that the cascade, right? The cascade effect and that happens for when some animals uh, have some problems or like uh, uh, decrease the quantity or have some uh, uh, change the conditions of these animals. I
Great.
think that this is that I can summarize.
Yeah, that's a good part of what we've been reading. Onur, can you add any other details you can remember from our article?
Mm, the main idea, each kind of animal or creature has a good duty for all. Um, Also, that particle is related with the predators. Also, predators has a uh, important duty for nature. They are balancing the population of the other animals, the other preys, which consume plants. So we can also control with that with these predators the green, all green. So insects doesn't affect it badly.
All right, I think you guys have summarized it pretty well. Does anybody else have something to add as far as the summary goes?
Actually, he said something very important. I think is the main thing is the balance. If something decreases or something starts to increase in the environment, the balance is lost, and things in the environment starts to change.
Definitely. That's an important part. All right, who is the last person to read? I already forgot. Okay, well then, we can start with Thiago, and we'll work our way the opposite. So Thiago, will you read these two paragraphs for us?
The paragraph that may seem
It
obvious.
starts with ripple and other.
Okay, let's start. Ripple and other carnivores published a study in this week's issue of journal Science that lists the benefits that predators provide. They note that in places where predators are reintroduced, such as in Yellowstone National Park, deer and elk and vegetation return to a more natural state. That may seem obvious, but Patron says that the chain of so-called carnivore benefits is not well known. Even as the big carnivores disappear, uh, he say, we have trashed the large carnivores for sure, he says. They are becoming more and more scarce, and we don't even have the science to tell us what we are losing.
Thank you. So we have a few vocabulary words that are important here. What does he mean when he says, we have trashed the large carnivores for sure? What does that mean?
We have lost?
Uh-huh. And not exactly lost, because lost could be something like an accident or something that doesn't...
Kill.
Maybe put erasers.
Hunting with
Destroyed.
destroyed.
Hunt, kill, destroy, a lot of those words work pretty well here. Throw away, yeah. So it's kind of like he's definitely putting the fault on us, for sure. We've trashed it, so our actions have caused these large populations to be destroyed. And now they're scarce. What is scarce?
Scarce is
few quantity.
Random, not random. Rare. Yeah.
It's
almost
rare.
Yeah.
Almost in an extinction.
Yeah, rare, almost in extinction. These are great synonyms. Onur, will you read the next two paragraphs for us?
Okay. Can you highlight it, Michelle?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you. What remain are scientific questions such as how many wolves or cougars or grizzlies do you need in say a national park to keep the other animals and plants under control? Peterson says the wolf has been an especially difficult case. It has made a comeback in the US and Canada, but wolves sometimes prey on livestock. They compete with hunters for deer and elk. Many people have a deep-seated fear of them. Several states now allow the hunting of wolves in places where their numbers seem adequate. That has created enmity with hunters and ranchers on one side and some environmentalists on the other.
Thank you very much. That was a tough one, and especially this long word, environmentalist. Tough.
Yeah.
All right, a few vocabulary terms that are important. What does deep-seated? Many people have a deep-seated fear of them.
Fear.
Deep in your brain.
Migrated to
Profound.
soul.
Whoa. Huh? What's that?
A fear which is migrated to soul. A
Yes.
deep fear. Yeah.
Exactly. Something deep within you. And enmity? It's created an enmity.
When you are enemy of wolves in this case.
Yep. An enemy situation. So we have the two sides, hunters and ranchers. And then environmentalists on the other. Are there any other vocabulary questions from that section?
Livestock?
Yeah.
Good question. Does anyone know what livestock is?
Cattle, group of
Cattle, that's one example. So cows, or chickens, or goats, or pigs, anything that you can grow, like an animal that you can grow on a farm or to produce something. Okay. Next two paragraphs are for Emmanuel.
Sure. Can you zoom in a little bit, please?
Zoom in?
Yes.
Oops. How's that?
Better. Yeah, it's from Peterson says. Yes. Peterson says people have always had a love-hate relationship with wolves, having bred them into man's best friend, the dog, while at the same time demonizing them in might and hunting them to near extinction. How do we live with these creatures, and how will we accommodate them? Person asks, and what will stop their increase when we put them back? We are in the driver's seat.
Thank you very much. And the very last paragraph, Elena, will you read it?
Scientists are now calling for a global large carnivore initiative to organize research on carnivore ecology and, as Peterson points out, to illustrate just how predators have shaped our world. It was the large carnivores to a great extent that maintained that fabric of life that formed us, he says. The world wouldn't be what it is without them.
Thank you. All right, how about the word demonizing? Can we give a definition for that word?
Make something like the demon.
Yeah, so thinking about something in a kind of evil way.
Give them
And what
bad
about
connotation. Sorry.
No, sorry I cut you off there, but you're totally right. That's an excellent addition to our definition. And another phrase that I wanted to quickly go over is the fabric of life in the last paragraph. What is the fabric of life? It's a difficult to explain expression. So
The
from
Cycle of life.
cycle of life, the building, how you build the life, the chain.
Yeah.
Change.
So it's very inclusive. It's sort of everything, all of life, the cycle of life, all of that stuff. Okay. Any questions?
Yeah, what is might? Might.
The word.
Demonizing them in might.
Oh, myth. The
Myth.
word myth.
Myth.
Yeah. That's an awesome question. What is a myth? Does anybody know already?
Legend,
Yeah.
like a legend is
Oh, yeah.
Similar to a legend. Yeah, something that's not quite
picture.
true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. Any other questions?
Actually, I missed the means of fabric of life, Michelle. Can you repeat it again?
Sure. Can someone help him out? What did we say that meant?
It's like a cycle of life. It includes everything in nature.
Uh-huh. Exactly. A very inclusive definition of life and everything to do with stuff that is alive. Anything alive is part of the fabric of life. The
Hmm.
material life is made of.
Hmm. The big picture. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any last questions before we discuss a little more about the content?
Yes, I've got one. Actually, back to paragraph 4. Um, the moving parts.
All right. So the context is we're dealing with the most complicated systems in the universe, and we hardly even know what the moving parts are. So does anyone already know what this phrase is talking about here?
Yes, it's like if you want to make a puzzle and you don't even have the pieces. That
Uh-huh.
with movement.
Or the variables.
Yeah, so those would be both good ways to describe what the moving parts are. They're the variables involved in this particular equation or the pieces necessary. So he's saying that we don't even know how we would get to that result. We might want to try to change things, but we don't know even what they do. We don't know the full function of these carnivores and their predators. And if we don't know what all of the functions are, then we won't be able to recreate it.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? So the last thing that I hope we have time for today, we might have to do it quick, is there was a comment. I don't see the comments anymore. Some people argue that people have caused a lot of damage to the environment, and it's our responsibility to try to fix it. And then other people argue that we've caused a lot of damage, so the best thing to do would be to stop what we're doing and try to back up, but not really take action to fix it, because if humans cause the problem, it's best to stop human involvement in things like nature, and instead of trying to manipulate nature, we should just back up and let it do its own thing. So I want to know, what do you guys think would be a good solution here? Do you think we should get more involved or try to be less involved to stop these? And give a quick response because we don't quite have enough time to do this. I'm going to start on the left with Andre. What do you think is the solution here?
I should be less involved. Um, do you hear me? Hell.
Yeah.
I think you should be less involved.
Okay, less involved.
Yes, second.
All right, less involved. Andy, what do you think? More involved or less involved?
I think both, but
Both?
firstly, yeah.
How can you do
Firstly,
both?
and for the more involved, I think we can growing up in number of the predators if they're in near extinction, or if the forests are gone. We have to make a reforestation, and after that we just leave them in nature.
Okay. So first more and then less, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Cesar Luis, do you think we should be more involved or less involved?
Well, I think human should get involved. Human being should get involved in the preservation of nature and environment. Of course, but don't. But thinking that is to begin the cycle, to preserve the cycle of life, but and after that let them go by themselves and retire. But at the beginning, of course, because human being is affecting the nature, in fact. This is
All
my
right.
view. Thank you.
Thanks. Dogu Khan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Good to have you back.
Thanks.
Will you tell us if you think people should be more involved or less involved?
Less involved. For me, I think.
Okay. And how do you think we would be less involved? What could we do?
Actually, I don't have exact sentences for this for the experiment.
Okay. No problem.
Sorry.
Thanks, Dogu-kun, for your opinion. Elena, do you think humans should be more or less involved?
I would like to know, but I don't. But as the article says, we don't know how nature works. So it's very difficult when there are a lot of samples in what that humans are. Oh, sorry. Humans. Well, there's a lot of awful examples of human intervention to arrange things, so it can be dangerous. But at the same time, how can't we intervene?
It's
So
a tough one. Tough situation.
I don't know.
All right. Emmanuel, what do you think? Should we get more involved or less?
Sorry, involved in what? In the
involved in the environment because we've caused a lot of damage. So I would like to know if you think it's our responsibility to try to fix this by getting more involved, or should we just stop doing things to the environment? Because we've caused so much damage, some people think it might just be better for us to stop messing with the environment altogether.
Well, I think humans should be more involved. Yeah, since it's our nature. Somehow we caused the damage. Somehow it's we are some kind of predator. The predator.
True.
And well, it's not just matter of stop. We have to try to fix what is in our hands.
All right. Thanks, Emmanuel. Onur, what's your opinion here?
Actually, it's complicated. Unless we solve the all relationship in nature, we cannot involve. Actually, we are very far from it, so we will keep us from it. keep us away from it. Yeah, it will much better for nature and humanity. Maybe we can control the technology, so it is much better. Yeah, we can keep us away from nature, maybe a little bit more.
All right. And what did you put in the chat box?
The argument. You could not see the argument. The guest. Some comments. There was some comments below the document.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know why it wasn't showing up for right that minute, but thank you. That was really helpful, and those comments are interesting to read. Thank you very much for putting that there.
You're welcome.
All right. Tiago, last but not least, do you think humans should get more involved or less involved?
So I think that the humans should be more involved because we need the resource for the nature, and the human is pretty big by now, like more than 7 billion of people. So we should be more involved, but in the wise way, like to figure out new solutions to use the natural resource, and that the people have more knowledge of how to use the resource in the wise way, like how to avoid to waste water and some another resource. So I think that we should be more wise and involved.
All very valid opinions. Thank you guys so much for sharing and reading this with me. And we're out of time for today, unfortunately. We could go on for probably another hour with this discussion. But I'd love to see you guys again. I have more classes tomorrow and later in the week as well. So thanks. Any last comments or questions before we leave?
Okay. Bye-bye. No
Bye.
questions.
Thanks a
Bye.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Nicola.
much.
Have a good day.